Welcome. You're officially locked into Persuasions of Comfort. I am your host, Naum. I want to give a big shout out to all the listeners who've been tuning in since day one. The love and support is 100% greatly appreciated. Let's get it. The topic of discussion for today revolves around punctuality, dependability, organization, and routine. One thing that I realize is that people don't remember promises, they remember patterns. And your patterns tell them if they can count on you. Success is rarely one big moment, it's the small, repeated actions that say, hey, I'm reliable, or hey, I'm consistent, or my favorite, hey, I'm worth trusting. Today, we're going to talk about the two of the most underrated success habits being dependable and building a routine that supports it. So, why does this matter? Your reputation is built in small, consistent actions, showing up on time, doing what you said that you would do. Organization isn't about being a perfectionist, it's about being prepared so others can depend on you. I feel like without these habits, you'll lose opportunities before you even get a chance to even showcase your talent and prove that you're worthy of being dependable. So, here are my key talking points, pros and cons. And let's start with punctuality and dependability. So, when we're talking about punctuality and dependability, just understand that it builds credibility. It strengthens trust in personal and professional relationships. Having credibility is the key to building and strengthening trust. It allows you to maintain relationships both personally and professionally. Both punctuality and dependability are intrinsically linked to credibility because they demonstrate a fundamental respect for others' time and a commitment to one's responsibilities. Not only does it build respect and trust, it also enhances your reputation and reliability. Now let's talk about the cons. Overcommitting can lead to burnout or broken promises if not managed well. So, when you think about this, what can cause people to overcommit? Think of increased stress or anxiety, the pressure to deliver, or the fear of disappointment. We can also consider the difficulty in setting boundaries or the lack of flexibility. Therefore, we overcommit and thus eventually finding yourself in a position where you have to say no after you've already said yes. And finally, we might find ourselves overcommitting to things because of the fear of missing out on opportunities. That's probably like the worst thing ever. One thing that I always keep in the back of my mind is that opportunities are like windows, they're not open forever, right? You need to be smart enough to know when an opportunity has arise, and then you want to be courageous enough to go for it. So that in turn might cause us to overcommit because we do not want to miss out on those opportunities. So now I want to talk about organization and routine. What does it mean to organize your schedule and maintain a solid routine? Well, one of the pros to this is that it reduces stress, it increases productivity, and it helps you anticipate challenges. Being on point once in a while is noticeable for you, but having a pattern of being on point is recognized by others. Now, when we think about the negative aspect, the caveat, or the downside of being organized in too routine, is that now your overly rigid routines can stifle creativity and adaptability. You're not flexible enough to understand when you need to shift or adapt because you're so focused on being organized and sticking to a particular routine. Here is when things start to get a bit tricky, simply because you can no longer look at these concepts as one versus the other. You will eventually have to learn to create something that they call balance. Too much organization, too much routine can lead to a blockage in creativity and an inability to adapt to change. And on the flip side of that coin, a lack of organization and routine can keep you from becoming reliable and a credible resource, not just in your personal life, but also professionally as well. Your word might get you started, but your actions will take you far. So now the big question is, how do they work together? A routine makes dependability easier. You don't have to rely on willpower alone. And dependability gives routine meaning. This way, others will notice and value your consistency. I'll repeat that. A routine makes dependability easier because you don't have to rely on willpower alone. And dependability gives your routine meaning. This way, others will notice and value your consistency. All right, story time. The other day, I took a moment to reflect back on my years as a podcaster. I've been podcasting since the end of 2019, let's just say 2020. I'm proud of the work that I've done so far. The one thing that I'm missing that would be great is consistency. I never developed a sense of urgency to create a routine to publishing these episodes on a consistent basis. I believe my first year I dropped about 24 episodes. Second year, I think maybe 25 or 30. And then I fell off a little bit and went to 14 to 7 to 7. In order to establish partnerships and sponsorships, I need to be dependable. I need to put out content consistently on the same day, same time, every week. So I asked GPT to analyze episodes that I've already published and create a simple reusable podcast flow template that I can easily use to organize my thoughts, reduce my editing process, and deliver quality content on a consistent basis. So far, the process has worked quite well. And because I have more time now, I'm able to experiment on creating short soundbite clips that I am currently posting on TikTok and YouTube. These sound bites are digestible content with quality takeaways from each episode. I want to give a big shout out to Madame Toussaint, a shout out to Wade and Deshaun. When they listened to a podcast that I published not too long ago, The Discipline of Living with Purpose, one of the biggest feedbacks that I was getting is that it was quality content, a lot of gems in there, but it was just too long. So I ended up breaking up that episode into 5 different parts, and I was able to use my reusable podcast flow template in order to publish these episodes within a reasonable time frame. Now that I have some organization and a routine in place, I can work on enhancing my reputation as a podcaster, not just to attract leads for sponsorships and partnerships, but also for the listeners who value how I think and not just how I talk. The lesson here is simple. Reliability, credibility, and dependability isn't just a work skill. It's a relationship skill. So now here are some reflection questions for those who are out there listening. If someone had to describe your reliability in one word, what would it be? Where are you unintentionally creating doubt about your dependability? Can you fact check this insecurity? And finally, is your routine serving your goals, or is it just keeping you busy? One of my favorite quotes, and I've said it so many times in a lot of my podcast episodes, do not confuse movement with progress. You might be running in place and going nowhere. I like to close out with a challenge or some actionable steps that you guys can take away and apply right away into your daily lives. I want you to audit your week. Find one commitment where you can improve your reliability, whether it's showing up 5 minutes early, delivering a project ahead of schedule, or sending an update before someone inquires about it. Take inventory on how that changes how you feel and whether or not it's something worth integrating into your lifestyle. And of course, if this episode made you think about the small details that build trust, share it with someone who inspires you with their reliability. And if you take on this week's challenge, let me know how it goes. Always appreciate the people who champion you, who challenge you, and who changes you. Message me on IG at Persuasions of Comfort or leave a comment under the episode. And remember, people trust what they can see consistently, not what they hear occasionally. Make your actions speak louder than your intentions. I'm your host. Till next time, Naum.